Welcome back, folks. Today just a quick video on these two iconic Fender style guitars, right? The Stratocaster over here and the Telecaster over here. So, I'll adjust this here so you can see me. So, what are the primary differences between these guitars and what's your personal favorite? So let's start off with this guy. The Stratocaster. So, let me adjust my camera accordingly so you can see this thing. Okay, so this guy has 3 single coil pickups. It has a 5-way switch to control different settings on these pickups. This particular model has a rosewood fretboard. Tele does as well. The input jack on this guitar is on the front. On the Tele, it happens to be underneath. The bridge. This happens to be a hardtail, but most Stratocasters have a tremolo system on the guitar, whereas a Telecaster typically does not. What else do we have here? This is a double cutaway guitar. Telecaster is not. Who are the most iconic people that you could think of that play this guitar? Well, ones that come to mind for me, and this sometimes influences why a young person buys this guitar or style guitar. Obviously, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Ritchie Blackmore, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, Jeff Beck, Rory Gallagher. These are all classic guitar heroes that have played or currently play the Fender Stratocaster and have been predominantly known for having this guitar as their guitar of choice. One of the nice things about this iconic design is that it's probably, in my opinion, one of the most comfortable style body of guitars to play, because it has this carve, this belly carve in the back and this carve on the front, subtle as it is, that goes underneath the arm. Very, very comfortable guitar. Necks are comfortable on this guitar as well. It's typically a 9.5-inch radius. And it's a very versatile guitar. You can get a ton of different sounds on this guitar simply because of the 5-way switch on this guitar. Typically used in rock, blues, to some extent country rock, but that's really the most popular genres where you find these guitars played. Country rock, yeah, I would say so as well. It's really but blues and blues rock as well. I mean, some jazz guitarists do play Strats, but probably not that much. It's usually a semi-hollow guitar, like an ES-335 or some of the other Gibson-style hollow bodies that are typically used in that genre. So we'll put this guy back. We'll take this guy out. Now, Teles are typically a solid slab. That's how they describe these guitars. They're usually slightly heavier in weight, body weight, than Strats. Strats typically go around between 6 and 8 and 6-7 pounds. These guitars go up to 8 pounds in weight, and sometimes more, depending upon the brand of the guitar. Now, this is not a Fender, obviously. You can see here this is a copy. It's a Donner, but it has the typical appointments that a Telecaster has. That guitar is not a Fender either. It's a Squier, but it's a Fender trademarked guitar, so it has more of the Fender headstock shapes and design points. But this is pretty representative of a typical Telecaster in that it has 2 single coil pickups. The neck pickup is sometimes described as a lipstick style pickup, although it's not a lipstick pickup. It is a single coil that might look like a lipstick pickup. And it has this other single coil that's set into the bridge of the guitar, which gives the Tele that distinct bridge pickup sound. A lot of folks claim and state that the bridge pickup sound that you get out of Tele is very unique, easily identifiable, and cannot easily be replicated by other guitars. That's what largely produces that classic twang that you get out of the Telecaster. So these guitars are used very commonly in country and country rock genres or styles of music. Also in rock, I mean, some of the iconic players that use this guitar are obviously Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones, Jimmy Page on the first Led Zeppelin, I think the first two albums used the Telecaster almost exclusively. Rory Gallagher, excuse me, Roy Buchanan, another classic country rock guitarist that had the Telecaster as his guitar of choice. Terry Kath, who some of you might remember as the early guitar player in Chicago. So there are a bunch of guitarists that have come to be known for their instrument of choice being the Telecaster. This guitar is very, very versatile. It can be used for many style genres of music. I mentioned rock guitarists, country rock, blues. In some cases, jazz guitarists use the Telecaster, jazz rock guitarists. It is a very simple and basic design, which lends to its uniqueness and popularity in that you have just the three-way switch, two pickups, as I mentioned before, two single coil pickups, and a volume and a tone, and that's it. That's the guitar. No tremolo system. So it's a very, very simple design, but an iconic design. This, in contrast to the Stratocaster, is a single cut guitar. So some people prefer that, others don't. They want double cuts. The other major difference, as I mentioned before, is it does not have the whammy bar or the tremolo bar on this guitar. This particular design is a string through. Some of them don't have string throughs. They're just a solid, front-loading style guitar. Some of the more recent Telecasters and boutique brands of Teles do have carves. They have the belly carve as well as a carve on the front of the guitar. But the classic Telecasters and the classic design in this guitar do not have any carves. The neck on the guitar is slightly different than the Stratocaster. I think the Stratocaster neck, in my opinion, is slightly flatter than the radius that's on the Telecaster. In some cases, it usually has a thicker neck than the Stratocaster, although that's not necessarily always the case. The headstock on the Tele is also unique. This one is different because it's a Donner, but a classic Tele has that smaller headstock design. What else do we have to talk about? That's basically it in terms of the major differences between the Strat and the Tele. My personal guitar of choice, and again, it's always personal, right? A preference, is the Stratocaster. I just find it a more comfortable guitar to play. I've played more Strats in my life than I have Teles, so I'm typically more used to a Stratocaster. But it could go either way. I know a lot of people feel the opposite and feel that this is a superior guitar to the Stratocaster. These came out slightly before the Strats. I think they were introduced maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of the Stratocaster. It was originally named the Broadcaster, this guitar, and had a single coil, one single pickup in the guitar, in the bridge. And then it evolved into this, and then ultimately Leo Fender designed the Stratocaster. But both are iconic guitars. Both of them are great guitars. For beginners, they're excellent guitars because they're fairly basic, simple guitars, and many different manufacturers make these style guitars. So you don't necessarily have to buy a Fender. You can. I bought a Donner in terms of the Telecaster, and saved some money. Other manufacturers out there, budget manufacturers, have similar style guitars in both the Strat or the Tele. But just wanted to do this quick comparison and compare and contrast for the neophytes or the newbies on these two models. The pro guys, the guys that are out there, probably skipped this video as soon as they saw it. But just curious for your thoughts. You guys, Strat players, Tele players, put them below in the comments. Let me know which guitar is the guitar of choice for you and why. If you find these videos helpful, entertaining, informative, please subscribe. And I appreciate the viewers, I appreciate the subscribers. And as always, guys, until the next time, be well and stay safe. Take care.